folks, and welcome to another episode of Stanley and the Sea Can. All right, so this is going to be our third video about the new Canadian gun bans that have been coming out and keeping us all on our toes. So taking a quick step back, we survived the December 2024 gun ban by the skin of our teeth. They took away bullpups like in rifle calibers and a lot of 12 gauge ones, but they did miss some 12 gauge ones. So I left this Tavor 7 out because it shows you the style, right? So at this point in March of 2025, basically anything that looks like this, where you have the magazine back here kind of under your armpit type area with the pistol way in front, pistol grip way in the front, trigger grip way in the front, all of that stuff is bad. So if you have anything that looks like this, doesn't matter how benign, how anything, that's now illegal. And they also took away, with great detail, like every single variant of this thing, the M1 carbine. So it's kind of like the world's first PCC, really. Maybe not the first, but it was a real commercial wartime masterpiece of pistol caliber carbines. So very simple design, nice and easy, and it was made by tons and tons of companies. So that's why there's so many different variants of the M1 carbine on the list. So by this time, we've got our new minister of, public safety or public something or other, telling us that they take away all these evil war guns, and there's any gun that was designed for war is gone now. The world's gonna be a safer place, and there's not gonna be any more gun bans. But I'm not going to hold my breath on that one. So the reason I left this Tavor 7 out is because I made the list again. Yay, True North Arms. We lost our Ross 1 bullpup 12 gauge. And so it basically looked like this, 12 gauge though, instead of 5 or a 7.62 by 51. And it just had a nice big magazine back here for 12 gauge shells. And yeah, so by the time we end up today, which is the end of March, early April 2025, anything that looks like this, bad. Most everything that looks like this, like a semi-auto World War II, is bad. They got the SVT-40. They got a few other stragglers that were left in there. Some of the interwar guns that were between World War I, World War II. They didn't really take away anything else that was high energy or bolt action. And interestingly enough, they left the SKS, they left the M1 Grand, they left the Valmet, they left all sorts of interesting firearms for no reason, really. I guess some people use them for sustenance hunting, which you can make an interesting argument that you could use this for sustenance hunting or this for sustenance hunting. But that's where they left us with. So you can use sustenance hunting with a SKS or an M1 Grand, but you can't use a 22 caliber firearm that looks like this anymore if you were going to shoot a rabbit or something with that. That's bad now. So that's kind of where we left off now. And again, they've promised there's no more gun bans coming. There's going to be something coming with the magazines. They don't like how we were able to put rivets in them to restrict capacity in the past. So there's probably something coming down the lines with that. I'm not going to wear my tinfoil hat too loosely today, but it's probably something to do with a pending election. No matter what, we're having an election in October of 2025. So it's been a fantastic whipping boy for the certain parties in government to just keep targeting firearms, and all these evil firearms that are used in crimes they're nowhere to be found on this table, that's for sure, and or any of the tables I showed you. But that's what they're telling us. That's the narrative they're selling. So we just keep drinking the Kool-Aid, and we believe that people are driving around shooting at each other with World War II relics like this, with incredibly expensive and hard to find ammunition and magazines. But that's what we need for safety, I guess. All right, thanks so much. So we're in late March, early April 2025, and these are the firearms, some of them, that we're still allowed to have. So as our fearless leaders have told us, there's no weapons of war allowed. So we have an SKS, which has obviously never been used in any sort of combat anywhere in the world. We have an M1 Garand, which again has never seen combat anywhere in the world. And we've got all these bolt action guns that, they were never designed for anything besides sustenance hunting, apparently. So this is kind of a quick example of what's left in our world, or what we're allowed to have, if you want something that's kind of has a military type flair to it. So again, the SKS, they say it was specifically avoided from the gun bans because it's used for sustenance hunting by so many people in Canada. M1 Grand, we really don't know why they didn't take that one. Probably because it's just freaking cool rifle and legally allowed to have 8 rounds in there on the clip, and that's one of the only guns you can get in Canada that actually runs a clip, not a magazine. And yeah, then we have, of course, our bolt actions. This is like a Chinese copy of a Mauser action. A little bit rough, but you get the idea, right? The other types of semi-autos that we're still allowed to have is, some specifically designed firearms, like this here Browning BAR Mark III. So, the original Browning bars were definitely used in World War II. They were full auto 30-06. And now we have these guys here, which are obviously commercial models. They don't have the nice humpback, so it's a different operating mechanism on the inside and stuff. But yeah, these are totally good to go. So this semi-auto, this is the large full-size caliber, like 30-06 or something like that. This is definitely 30-06. This is 308, and this is Bore 7.62 by 39. So these are the types of firearms they want us to have and feed our families with. And this is kind of the types of stuff you're looking for. So I guess comparing these firearms to each other and to the stuff on the previous tables, we see now there's a lot more wood on here. Yeah, sure, you can get wooden or polymer stocks or metal stocks or adapter kits and things to convert these firearms. This here looks shockingly similar to the M1 carbine, but somehow it's different. I guess having 30-06 is a little bit less dangerous than having 30 carbine, but I don't know how that math works out. One of the biggest key features of these, I guess you could say, to all of them, is that they don't have readily detachable magazines. This guy here, sure, you can detach the magazine, but it's kind of attached to a floor plate, and to rip all this off, it's not something you can quick change. M1 Garand, of course, you've got this bottom plate here, and it feeds 8-round just 8-round clips, end block clips through the top. And here, bolt action, so it's typically a different beast, even though some bolt actions have been banned before, especially high energy ones. And the SKS, with our fancy duck bill magazine, and if you try to drop that out, it just dumps and peaks its cartridges all over the place. Can any of these be modified to run different types of magazines? Possibly. Don't know. Never tried it. Could they be made to look cooler with different stocks, different chassis, different optics, rails, and things? Yeah, absolutely, right? These older war guns don't really have good provisions, in factory conditions here for scopes and optics and things, but this Browning here has your standard drill and tap provisions for a Picatinny rail. Then you could put whatever optic you want on there. And yeah, so this is kind of where hunting and firearms collecting and the like is headed to in Canada after this last gun ban, on which we've been promised there'll be no more. Like I said, I'm not holding my breath. Thanks.